Everybody, it's super late tonight, but I was just having a texting conversation with a Facebook friend of mine who's kind of really struggling with her 3-year-old son. Um, I guess just kind of stir crazy and bored and overwhelmed and, not really getting much help from her husband. And I don't know if that's in a bad way or a good way. I didn't really get into that. But that kind of made me think about, what I was going through when the girls were, 2, 3, and some of 4. Because my husband has always traveled for work and he's never home, and it's just really frustrating. So I was really inspired to kind of share my story of how I kind of got through those years. It wasn't easy, we'll say that. And my my ongoing joke was, I liked to drink in the ages 2, 3, and 4, but that's just a joke, and it's kind of just trying to be lighthearted about it. Sometimes you have like a glass of wine at night to kind of take the edge off of a long, hard day or whatever. I think that stay-at-home moms don't really get enough credit as far as, we are stuck at home all day, and yeah, we choose to be there, but we are stuck at home all day with our kids and, no adults, and bored, and like, what do you do? And you're always trying to think of like new things to do that can like tire out your kids and stuff. Sometimes we get stuck in a rut, and everything kind of becomes redundant and, stagnant and just bored. You're tired from being bored. And I totally get that feeling. Sometimes we confuse that with, kind of feeling down and depressed, and maybe you like lay on the couch all day or you lay in bed all day just because you're feeling so tired. So one thing that I learned being a stay-at-home mom is kind of like I don't want to say like a schedule. Sorry, I have like a totally gnarly cough, so I don't mean to cough in your face. But anyways, not really so much a schedule as it is, kind of like a regimen, I always like to get up super early, and I've mentioned that in one of my videos, getting up early and before my kids. And I feel like that's so important to get up first so nobody's waking you up, and that way you have time to kind of, gather yourself. If you guys can think back to, when you did work, if you ever have worked, or when you were in school and you woke up late and you like rushed everything, you rush out the door, and like your day just doesn't feel the same as if you did when you woke up early and you had time to pull it together, and then you felt good going into the day. Well, the same thing applies to being a stay-at-home mom. You still have to get up early to face your job, and that's to be a mom. And the last thing you want to do is wake up, frustrated or of, loud noises, or you didn't get up when the kids got up. Now there's like a huge mess out there, you know what I mean? Like we've all done it, we've all done that, we've all been in that position. And I'm not saying it'll never happen, but, just getting up earlier will just kind of really get you motivated. So that's always the number one thing. It looks like I have a wrinkle. So the number 2 thing is finding stuff to do. We live in the Tampa area, and we have for about 4 years now. And I'm not native to Tampa, so I have never really known, what there is to do around here. And, I've always been trying and searching and, for friends who can hang out with me, who have kids or, whatever. And sometimes we feel a little defeated when we're alone and we're not finding friends and we're not finding enough to do, or the things that there are to do, they just cost so much money. It's really frustrating. But once in a while we do come across people who actually like know stuff, and they're willing to share those with you. And one of the things that was told to me was in my town we had this place called the Family Resource Center, and they told me about it, like a year before I even checked it out. But this place ended up being really cool. First of all, it was totally free, and it was twice a week, and they had story time and play time and craft time, and everything was free. I mean, they didn't even take donations. That's how free this place was. That kind of became like a dedicated like Tuesday and Friday thing to do. and we really looked forward to it. It didn't really take but 2 minutes to get there. I'm not saying that everybody's going to have that same, option, but these are things that I did not know about until somebody had told me. And I was probably in one of those moments where I was just like, I am so bored, or, oh my God, these kids are driving me crazy. Like, I need something to do. And this person was like, oh, have you ever checked this out? And I'm like, oh, I never really thought about that. We also live kind of far from downtown Tampa. But sometimes, once in a while, I do take a drive there, and we have free things to do. Like our children's museum, the first Tuesday of every month is free for the kids to get into, which is so cool. It's something, you put on the calendar and you look forward to, going there and whatever. Also during the summertime, they have the fountains on. It's like a whole block of sidewalks, and it's just got all these fountains, and, everybody's there with their kids to play in them. It's super, super fun, and it's totally free. I did sorry about that. But anyways, there are, things that you can Google. You can Google what there is free to do in your, your area, or cheap things to do. But I feel like when I do that, it's not really giving me the local, what the locals know, There's also a lot of mom groups and play date groups and all these things and yada, yada, yada. I never really got into those things because they cost money. I know it's very minimal. Some of them are $25 a year, but then there's other things they get together for activities and whatever they do, and those things cost money and just kind of adds up when you read the small print. So I never quite understood that, and I'm definitely not one of those people that can hang out with I can't hang out with people when I feel like it's disingenuine. Do you know what I mean? I paid to hang out with you kind of thing. I don't know. It kind of sets a tone for me, and I can't really get past that. But I am the kind of person that will stop, somebody. Well, sometimes you strike up a random conversation with somebody, and I actually did that at Target the other day. This woman had a son, and I had my girls with me, and for whatever reason, the kids just really took together. So we actually, added each other on Facebook, and we were like, hey, we need to get together sometime. And this is so cool. And we talked for 20 minutes. We had so much in common, and I was like, oh my gosh, I think I just made a friend. That felt really genuine to me. But paying for a play group and all of that just kind of feels really disingenuine. It makes me kind of uncomfortable when things aren't happening organically. I don't know. Some people enjoy that lifestyle, and I think that's cool, or can just mesh well with, other people who don't feel as awkward as I do, and that's awesome. But one thing I will say is, sometimes if you go to the park, any park in your neighborhood, you can see that there's playgroups going on, just join in. I mean, just show up with your kid and just hang out and see, and get a feel for things. I'm all about going to the park and doing things that wear my kids out. I just think that's such a big deal. Another thing, this video is going to be kind of long, but this is all inspired from my friend that I had on Facebook. Another thing that she was complaining about, I don't know about complaining, but frustrated about, is that her son is always getting into things at home, and, nose not working, and a swat on the hiney's not working, and all these things. And I have to say that I'm not always right, but this is just my experience, and I just want to share that. But one of the things that I find when I feel like my kids are just out of control or whatever, I feel like they're bored. And it really inspired me to come up with things to do and for their mind, and keep their mind going and be active, so they're not getting into things, And another thing, okay, slow down. So one of the things that the girls like to do is they like to paint. They like to do puzzles, and I know if you have small kids, these aren't really, all that exciting. But even when my kids were just ready to hold a paintbrush, we were painting outside, and I got a big long roll of brown, paper wrap or whatever, but it comes in a roll, and I would just roll that in the driveway, tape it to the driveway, and just let them paint away. and just get completely covered and dirty and messy, just because that makes it so much more fun. Another thing too is that don't necessarily rule it out. Like if you're trying to clean and your kids are just not, respecting that, or they're in your way or whatever, I think one of the coolest things to do is to kind of incorporate your kids into what you're doing. And sweeping and mopping is like a huge, excitement for kids. I know it is mine. Like they just want to excuse me, they want to hold the mop and the broom, and they want to do their best, whatever they think they're helping. And I let the kids do it, even though they're not really, helping, they might be making it worse. I don't care. They're having a good time and they're enjoying themselves, and when kids feel like you're giving them a task and they feel like they're doing something really good, it boosts their confidence. It just makes them feel so important. Another thing too is that I've always had, and this is kudos to my mom for bringing this up, is the kids have always had their own cupboard of things that they can absolutely get into. Because my kids love to get into stuff up high. They like to climb. I mean, it's like nothing is too high up for them, so they're always into stuff. But if they know they have like one cupboard of their own, they can just go in there and do whatever they want. It might be pots and pans. It could be a wooden spoon in there too. But it's theirs. And they're allowed to play in that cupboard, and they can act like they're cooking, and do whatever. I just think they get a real kick out of it. And that's way better than, like, get out of the kitchen, I'm busy, blah, because nobody likes to really yell at their kids, and tell them to go away. But sometimes we don't think that, oh, if I just give them this, they actually think they're helping, and they just get really excited about it. They love to like help me fold the laundry, even though they're making it, last like 20 minutes longer than it needs to be. But I don't care. If they're putting their stuff away the way they want to put it away and they're helping, I just think that's so sweet. I really don't like to shoot them down too much what they do. I don't really want to burst their bubble, or, if I don't want to tell them they're doing something wrong as far as that, because just the fact that they want to help is so cool. We've actually just started doing little things like we have a little tiny basket that we keep recyclables in, so I let them bring that to the garage and fill the big blue one, and they feel so important with it, and they get to feed the dogs and water the dogs. And I think that's part of and you can start this stuff young, but I think part of the problem is that we kind of just brush our kids off and tell them, go play. And then we feel like, oh my God, my kids have been in my ass all day, But the truth is that they just want to be involved. They want to do what you're doing. And we kind of break their spirit if we don't include them. You don't have to include them in everything, but in the things that you can include them in, I think it's just so important, just to build their confidence and keep their spirits up, and, all these things, build who they are, and they build a relationship and a foundation and all of that stuff. It's just, I don't know, it's really cool to watch. But, there's also activities you can be doing to tire your kids out too, so they're not in your ass all day, like riding scooters and riding bikes or playing outside. And, we've always had a trampoline, big one, small one. Well, they started with a small one, and, that was really fun. And now we have a big one, and now they're just like doing backflips and front flips, and they're so agile. It's so cool. Sometimes we just go on nature walks and we bring buckets and we try and fill them with all these treasures, like twigs and stones and acorns, are like the biggest treasures, it's like a big deal. We like to find pine cones and then put glitter all over them and all this stuff. There's just so many things that you can do that don't really cost a whole lot of money or any money at all. I'll keep you guys posted. If you want to know more ideas and, what I do to keep myself busy with the girls, especially when they're 2, 3, and 4, like that pivotal age of annoyance. So I've been there, I've done it, I've been tired, I've been stressed, I've been, depressed, and I've been all those things, being at home with my girls, but it didn't, nothing changed until I decided to change, you know, what we were doing inside the house and outside of the house. So if you guys like this video and you want me to keep going about it, let me know. It's already been like 15 minutes. Holy cow. Yeah, just leave your comments down below. And otherwise, I'll see you guys again. Thanks a lot.